Hey, all right, trying to do another video here. One of the questions that crops up every once in a while at talks, and sometimes in an email, is how could I not know who the Blessed Mother was? Because during my conversion, for those of you that are unaware, this woman gave me a blessed miraculous medal that I had no idea what it was. And, I clenched my fist around it, and she said again, she said twice, the Blessed Mother's calling you into her army. And I'm just like, the first time she said that, I was like, Isis? Gaia? I've got no idea who the Blessed Mother is. And people hear that in the talk, and remember that I'm usually doing this talk in a room full of Catholics. Every Catholic in this room has heard about the Blessed Mother since they were in diapers. Well, I grew up in my diapers in a Baptist church. So, let's see. How many stories are there in the Bible about Mary? Now, in reality, her and Joseph fled to Egypt, and at the wedding at Cana, she said, do whatever he tells you to do, and she gave birth to Jesus. Well, there's three, but in the Baptist church, we heard that she gave birth to Jesus. And in that wedding at Cana, we didn't hear about that story. Do you know why? Because Jesus turned water to wine and Baptists don't drink. And did we hear about them fleeing to Egypt? No. Why? Because the only thing she did was give birth to Jesus. Now, let's go with titles. How many titles are there for Mary in the Catholic Church? Think about it. How many titles do you remember? She's the queen of everything. She's the queen of heaven and earth. And she's pretty much anything that you could name her to be the queen of, she is. And then there's the names for her. Our Lady of Quito, Our Lady of Good Success, Our Lady of Fatima. And it would just keep going. But in the Baptist Church, do you know how many names we have for Mary? One. Mary. You know how many titles we have for her? Wait for it, 0. So I grew up Baptist, and I left the Baptist church when I was 15, and I started practicing magic when I was 10. Remember that I was still Baptist. I started going to a satanic coven when I was 12. I officially believed I'd sold my soul and joined the coven when I was 13. So I was a Satanist and a Baptist at the same time. Well, they're both Protestant religions, so sure, why not? Then at 15, I left the Baptist church, stayed satanic, stayed a Satanist till I was in my 30s, and then fled organized Satanism, and eventually converted to the Catholic Church, converted to Christianity in the Catholic Church. But up until that time, I had no idea who the Blessed Mother was. I barely knew Mary. I knew that she gave birth to Jesus. It's the only thing I knew. But when I turned 41, and this woman put a blessed miraculous medal in my hand, then I knew she was the prettiest woman in the world. I knew that there was never anybody more perfect than this. Think about it. If you were God and you could make your mother, wouldn't your mother be the prettiest woman in the world, and wouldn't she be perfect? I know my mom, here on earth, pretty close to being perfect. Not really, but yeah. And the prettiest woman in the world? Pretty close. Mary does beat her, but just barely. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. God bless you and have a good night.